So meditation, usually I find it useful at the beginning to check in, just to notice, how you are feeling right now, how we're feeling right now, sitting here. Not to start to think about it a lot, proliferate, just to check in, get the basic feeling of what's the mood. To become conscious of that. And that can help us to assess what we actually want to do also in this meditation. That's the second useful thing, just to clarify one's intention beforehand. What do I actually want to do with this, say, next half an hour? What do I want to try to do? So that we are more clear actually in our effort about what we are trying to achieve. Because there's so many different things that we can do, that we can try in meditation. It helps to clarify our intention beforehand. So you don't have to, after the meditation, wonder, well, what was this about? What did I actually try to do there, if I did try to do anything at all? It gives you a clearer reading, also about what is actually happening. Whether you've been actually doing what you intended, or whether you've been drifting away from your original intention, whether that was conscious or unintended. Makes the whole process a bit more conscious, or helps to make it more conscious. And then just bring your attention to the body. That's the main thing I'd like to suggest this evening. Just to try and keep things rather simple. Meditation is one way of bringing our attention to the actuality of what is actually happening right now for us. To take energy away from mental proliferation, from fantasies, activities of the mind, the tendency of getting lost in thinking about the future or thinking about the past. Bringing your attention to the body not as we imagine or think about the body, but how do we actually know there's a body sitting here, the body of our experience, the body that we actually feel. So particularly if we sit with our eyes closed, our experience of the body is physical sensations. These are actually happening right now. So by noticing physical sensations and keep bringing our mind back to the physical sensations, we bring our attention, our mind, actually into the actuality of our experience of life as it is right now. So we can notice the overall sensation of the whole body sitting here. See how much of the body that you can feel. Perhaps move around with your attention through the body, visiting the various parts, connecting up the various areas of sensation, so we get a more complete, a more full experience of the body. Try to feel as much of your body as you can. That is bringing as much of yourself, the physical self, into the presence of awareness. Extending, broadening our awareness of the body. And by doing that, we can use that also to actually check the various important parts of our posture. Notice wherever you, say, sit on the chair or on the cushion, the contact with the floor, with the ground. Do you actually feel well supported? Are you sitting well balanced? So you can actually relax into your sitting posture. Or, are there tensions in your legs, your knees? Maybe you have to adjust your posture a bit, so it's a little bit more comfortable and stable. And then the lower back and the belly. Kind of central area of our body, which is also central to our meditation. It's here where where the good posture comes from, where we regulate our good posture. So you can just move very gently, very slowly backwards and forwards with your hips a bit, and just notice how that affects the overall sense of your body posture. Until you feel the right balance, where your lower back is actually straight. It feels like your lower back is a little bit tucked in, rather than being curved outward so that you slump and compress your belly. You have your lower back nice and straight, so that opens up your belly, and you can feel you can relax your belly and breathe easy, allowing the breath to go all the way down. So you can actually feel your breathing in the belly. You can imagine that you are, to aid that posture, you can imagine that you are wearing a belt around the belly, and somebody is kind of pulling at the belt from in front of you, just very gently. So that your lower back moves in just a little bit, and your belly opens up. You imagine you're having a big, open, relaxed belly. And of course notice what you actually feel. Does the belly feel relaxed? Are there tensions in there? Sometimes just bringing our attention to a tense area in the body can actually help to let go of the tension, to relax. Even if just a little bit. So then the upper body should just be able to rest, balance naturally on top of the lower back and belly. No muscular effort needed in the upper back to hold the back straight. You can just relax the shoulders, relax the arms and the hands. If you move your attention upwards along the spine, it's an interesting point if you arrive at a place between the shoulder blades. And just imagine you gently, very gently push in there with an imaginary finger in between the shoulder blades. And just opens up your chest just a little bit. So stable, relaxed connection to the ground, straight lower back, open belly, opening the chest, relaxing the shoulders, the arms and the hands. And then notice the head, muscles in the face, notice the jaw, make sure the jaw is not tight but relaxed. And then here again we can imagine that piece of string coming down from the ceiling, attached to the top of our head, and just imagine that you are like a puppet hanging from this piece of string. So imagine that string pulling slightly upwards and a little bit backwards, so it stretches out your neck. The chin comes down a little bit towards the chest. Gives your spine a nice little stretch. And then, if you imagine you're hanging from this thread, everything else can really relax. The shoulders, arms, just give it all over to gravity. Right down to your legs and buttocks pressing on the chair or the ground. You can even imagine growing roots like a tree, going down into the earth. Sitting very still and stable. So that is the whole body sitting on our experience of the body. It's just this field of patterns of sensations. It's kind of shifting and changing. Within that, it's like space-like presence of our attention, our sense of being here, being aware, noticing something going on, something we call sensations that make up our experience of the body. And it's somewhat the same all the time, and it's also always shifting and changing, isn't it? It's never entirely still. There's always movement in there. Parts of it we can feel that we can maybe control for a while, but overall we can't control it all. It's just happening, isn't it? Sensations. So we can use that. It's just something to always come back to connect to ground our attention. It's like a kind of a platform. It's a shifting, changing platform, but one that is always here, which we can use to rest on, to rest our attention on, and from which then we can observe, we can investigate. Whenever we notice that we may be, as for most of us, it's the habits. We have got lost again in some fantasy, been riding away on a train of thought into parallel mental worlds. We can just notice that, and we just come back to the very immediacy and simplicity of physical sensations, body just sitting here, doing its thing. So we don't have to fight against thought, but that just de-emphasizes thought and puts it into perspective. A perspective of just an awareness, being here, being present, noticing all those different things going on. Physical sensations and the sounds, just gentle sounds in the background around us. Around us, no, that's our perception, but still like another kind of sensations happening within, actually, this space of awareness, presence of our attention. It's all commingled in our experience, isn't it? Physical sensations, sounds, and then of course also the thoughts, just another type of sensations. Things that happen, they arise, and then cease again. Rather than identifying with the thoughts or getting involved in the stories, we can just notice them as phenomena, like physical sensations. It's all part of this soup, if you like, of our experience, just mixed up of these different kinds of sense impressions, potpourri. If the mind becomes more, our attention becomes more stable and steady, staying with the body, then it becomes more quiet, likes to settle on a more refined kind of object. There's no need to go that way. It's quite fine to just stay with the body, the overall sense of the body sitting here, perhaps the various aches and pains even, tensions, they're a bit more coarse, if you like, objects of attention. But it also means it's a bit easier to stay with them, to keep track of them. They call our attention. So that's usually much more recommendable because it's easier to stay with than, say, going straight away for the breath. But if you like to allow your attention to settle on the breath, if that's what you feel attracted towards, or your attention feels attracted towards, when it gets more quiet, more precise, just ask yourself, how do you know that you are breathing right now? So some kind of sensations will probably come up. So allow your attention to go towards those sensations that come up, or those that feel most natural right now, those that your attention feels attracted towards. So again, then become not from an idea of staying with the breath at the tip of the nose or at the belly or whatever kind of technique we might have learned or are used to, but we are guided by the actuality of our experience. Now, how do I know that I'm breathing right now? Then notice what you feel. And that is probably what your attention is going to be most easily staying with. It doesn't have to be always the same thing. One day it might be the belly moving, one day it might be sensations of air coming in and out of the nose. Or it could be just an overall sense of the whole body, just slightly expanding with the in-breath, and then relaxing with the out-breath. Just stay with those sensations and just notice how they change, how they affect your attention. Just listening into the breath, to the body breathing, allowing the body to breathe natural. However the body happens to be breathing right now, we just notice, we just listen. The difference in the sensations between an in-breath and an out-breath. And notice how the quality of the breath is also changing all the time. So just keeping doing this simple exercise, or just cultivating a stability, continuity of attention, and the presence, an awakeness to what is actually happening right now. It allows the mind to both settle, become more calm, and also more clear, discerning. We might start to notice particular kind of attitudes or agendas in the way that we habitually or perhaps just right now react to our experience. That also can become object of our awareness, of our attention. If we're resisting our experience in some way or another, trying perhaps to manipulate it, or if there's impatience in the mind, whatever it is, we can also just notice that. Just notice that this sense of awareness is already always before whatever attitude we might become conscious of. It's like the space around it. Whenever we notice some such like attitude, our awareness becomes a bit more clear, a bit more purified. So that which observes resistance, of course, in itself is not resistant. So once we become aware of it, then our awareness becomes a bit more clear. Some of the resistance gets purified out of the awareness. So the mind becomes clearer. So we can use that stillness, increasing stillness and clarity of attention to every now and then perhaps drop an inquiry into their question, like who is actually breathing? Is there somebody breathing? Or who is doing the meditation? It's a way of directing the natural intelligence of our mind towards investigation. What's the suffering? If there is any suffering? Where does it come from? What is it about? What is beneath it? Just dropping questions, not trying to find answers, but just becoming clear of the questions that might be relevant for us. And then we listen again into that space in which it is all happening. Physical sensations, mental impressions, mental fabrications, thoughts, images, sounds. And that sense of presence, of being aware, something being aware. Noticing, receiving the experience. Allowing it.